Yellow everyone. In this tutorial you are going to learn how to use SQLite with Visual Basic.net. Apparently you need to have Visual Studio installed on your machine. Your first impossible mission is not easy though. Go and launch your Visual Studio, then create a new Windows Forms application under any framework you want. And don't forget to give it a sexy name, and keep in mind the location of your project or the solution, because you will need it for later. And don't be a lazy programmer. Give the professional names to all of your objects, like form 1 should be for instance main form. And now you need to install a Nuget package. All you have to do is to be a lazy programmer, which by that I mean to copy paste this tiny line, and then start up the package console manager. It's like fucking old DOS operating system, but in a modern way. Paste the line you copied a bit earlier here and click enter. It will start to get the references from the internet and put them in project with respect to whatever the fucking .NET version you have selected. Another thing which is important to have, and that is the database browser for SQLite. With the software you will have an idea about what hell is going on with your database. I have it pre-installed on my computer. All the shit you need to get from the internet I will post via links down in the description. Anyway, create a new database and put it in debug directory of your project for easy access by the code. Since we are not lazy programmers, we need everything to be as short as possible. Make a new table and call it tableau, and that's for sexiness. In this tutorial we will make a table and execute queries against this table, which will have a column for identification number, user, and income. Make sure the identification number is unique, not null, primary key, and auto increment unique. For the other columns you can just use not null. This way you can make sure that all data will be inserted to the database are not empty. And if you try to be smart and insert empty data to the database, it will pop up a critical message and say fuck you. Ha. Another important thing with this awesome software, you have to click on Write Changes whenever you do changes to the database through it. All the previous steps were just like a joke. Now for a real programmer is to face the challenge with a code that only works on his computer and doesn't work on other computers, and yet he says, but it's working on my computer. Enough kidding. And important, the library to use software then makes the memory allocations for the connection, command, data reader, and connection string. Remember, data reader cannot be assigned with new keyword. Just keep that in mind. I will show you that, so you don't get the same mistake. The easy way to get the connection string is to open this website and copy the connection string. You don't have to have 300 IQ. You can specify all the parameters to your connection string correctly. And don't forget to modify the connection string accordingly to your project. For instance, data source or the location to your database must be specified. Let's now start the easy and the fun part, design the form. Add 5 buttons to your application, 3 labels, 3 text boxes, and 1 list box, and that will be fine to continue with this tutorial. However, the important thing with designing again is to give proper names like good programmers. Each button is going to have an important query, so we can use it against the database, like insert, update, delete, select. The first button, which is insert button, will do this function. First things first, it will open the connection to the database, then we'll assign a query, then we will specify the parameters, then we execute the command against the database, and finally we close the connection. One thing to remember here is, each time we make a query against the database itself should be already open, and remember to close the database. If you are going to ask me, are we going to open the database and then close it for each single functionality? No, that's not important, and I have typed the code like this, so you keep in mind your database should be already open when you make queries against the database. However, if you are a smart-ass programmer, you can simply open the database at some point when you launch your application and close it later when you are terminating the application. One another important thing is using parameters with the queries. Do I have to use the parameters in the query? No, you don't have to use the parameters. You can simply do all of your shit in a single command text in the query itself. However, you are going to face some problems with the query if you are using a complex code. For instance, if you are using special characters with your query, you will see an exception thrown at your face. Anyways, I got tired of talking, and my throat is aching really badly. I will let you watch this porn alone, because I'm afraid to see your boner. Notice my awesome tactics writing this algorithm. And remember, if you have a question, post it in the comments down below, and hope for a replay. Thank you for watching. See you on the battlefield, programmer.